What you're about to witness is not what WWE had planned for their biggest star. The cameras caught everything. The crowd's reaction says it all. And what happened next? Nobody saw this coming. Before we get into the chaos, hit that subscribe button because you do not want to miss what went down when Jade Cargill's outfit betrayed her in front of millions. Listen, I'm going to say something that's going to make a lot of you angry, but it needs to be said. What happened to Jade Cargill at this event was not her fault, yet somehow she's the one catching all the heat on social media. That's right. While production teams walk away scot-free, while wardrobe gets a free pass, while the people who are actually responsible hide behind corporate statements, Jade is getting roasted online. And you know what? I'm sick of it. The woman is out there putting her body on the line, delivering 5-star performances week after week, and this is how she gets treated when something goes wrong? When a wardrobe malfunction that was completely out of her control happens? The disrespect is unreal. And if you don't think there's a double standard at play here, stick around because I've got receipts. But first, let me tell you exactly what happened that night. Picture this. It's a sold-out arena. The energy is electric. Jade Cargill is scheduled for what many are calling the most important match of her WWE career. We're talking career-defining, the kind of moment that separates good wrestlers from legends. For those who don't know, Jade Cargill isn't just another wrestler on the roster. This woman is a phenomenon. Standing at 5'10" with an athletic build that would make Olympic athletes jealous, she's been dubbed that bitch for a reason. Her presence alone commands attention. When she walks down that ramp, when those lights hit her, when her music hits, the crowd goes absolutely insane. Before this incident, Jade had been on an unprecedented tear through the women's division. She'd been cutting promos that had the internet buzzing for days. Her in-ring work had improved exponentially. Critics who once dismissed her as just a bodybuilder trying to wrestle were eating their words. She was proving everyone wrong, and she was doing it with style. For this particular match, the creative team had gone all out. We're talking a custom entrance outfit that reportedly cost thousands of dollars. Intricate design work, crystals, custom stitching, the kind of elaborate costume you'd expect for a WrestleMania moment. Multiple fittings had been done. Everything had been checked and double-checked, or so they thought. The build-up to this match had been months in the making. The storyline had captured everyone's attention. Social media was buzzing. Betting odds were all over the place. This wasn't just another match on the card. This was the match people were talking about during water cooler conversations. This was the match that had wrestling Twitter in a complete frenzy. Behind the scenes, Jade had been preparing like never before. Extra training sessions, working with veteran wrestlers to perfect every single move, studying tape until 3 a.m. This woman was obsessed with delivering the performance of a lifetime. She knew the eyes of the world would be on her. She knew this was her moment to cement her legacy. So here's what happened, and I want you to pay close attention, because the details matter here. Jade's music hits. The crowd erupts. She steps out onto the stage and she looks phenomenal. The outfit is absolutely stunning. It's catching the lights perfectly. Social media is already blowing up. Everything seems perfect. Too perfect. She starts her walk down the ramp, doing her signature strut. The confidence is radiating off her. She's feeling it. The crowd is feeding off her energy. This is what wrestling is all about. These are the moments that create legends. She gets to the ring, steps through the ropes, and then it happens. During her signature pose, you know the one, arms spread wide, soaking in the audience's adoration, there's an audible tear. Not just a little rip, we're talking a catastrophic wardrobe failure, the kind that makes everyone in the arena collectively gasp. Now, here's where Jade Cargill showed why she's not just a great wrestler, but a true professional. Because what happened next could have derailed the entire match. It could have been a complete disaster. But Jade, she didn't panic, she didn't freeze up, she didn't call for the match to be stopped. The camera caught her face for just a split second, and you could see it, that moment of realization, that oh no moment that every performer dreads. But before most people in the crowd even fully processed what happened, Jade had already adapted. She immediately adjusted her positioning, she worked with the referee who quickly grabbed a ringside towel. Her opponent, realizing what was happening, started calling spots to keep Jade positioned strategically. The commentary team, to their credit, didn't make it weird. They kept focusing on the match itself. But here's the thing that nobody is talking about. This shouldn't have happened in the first place. Multiple sources backstage have confirmed that the outfit had been flagged during rehearsals. There were concerns about the structural integrity of certain seams. The materials being used weren't ideal for the physical demands of wrestling. But those concerns were apparently ignored because it looked good on camera. Let me repeat that. They knew there might be problems, and they let her go out there anyway. This isn't just about a costume malfunction. This is about prioritizing aesthetics over athlete safety and comfort. This is about a production system that values the look over the reality of what these performers are doing in that ring. And you know what the worst part is? This isn't an isolated incident. Talk to any female wrestler, current or retired, and they'll tell you horror stories about costume issues, about uncomfortable gear, about outfits that restrict movement, about concerns being dismissed because that's just how it is. Things have gotten better, absolutely. Modern women's wrestling gear is generally more functional than it was 20 or 30 years ago. There's more emphasis on athletic performance, there's more input from the wrestlers about what they want to wear, but clearly we're not there yet. Clearly there are still situations where the presentation is being prioritized over practicality. Here's what needs to happen, and I don't care if this makes WWE uncomfortable. First, wrestlers need to have final say over their gear. If something doesn't feel right, if something seems risky, if something restricts their movement, they should be able to veto it. Period. No questions asked. Second, there needs to be better testing protocols. These outfits should be put through rigorous stress tests before a wrestler ever wears them on television. Stretch them, test the seams, make sure they can withstand the physical demands of wrestling. Third, there needs to be accountability. When these failures happen, the production team should be answering questions, not the wrestlers. The people who signed off on faulty gear should be explaining themselves, not the performers who trusted them to do their jobs correctly. And finally, there needs to be a cultural shift in how we respond to these incidents. The mockery needs to stop, the victim blaming needs to stop, the double standards need to stop. These are athletes performing at the highest level of their profession. They deserve the same respect, the same support, and the same understanding that we give to athletes in every other sport. Now, let's talk about how Jade handled this, because her response was absolutely perfect. She didn't immediately address it. She let the match speak for itself. She let her professionalism shine through. And then, a day later, she posted on social media. No long apology, no dramatics, no playing the victim, just a simple statement acknowledging what happened, praising her opponent, thanking the fans, and moving forward. Class persona. She made it clear wardrobe malfunctions happen. They're unfortunate, but they don't define you. What defines you is how you respond. And she responded like the champion she is. But here's what I found most powerful about her response. She subtly shifted the narrative. Without directly calling anyone out, without naming names, she made it clear that this was a team failure, not an individual one. She reminded everyone that there are dozens of people involved in putting together these shows, and sometimes things slip through. The wrestling community, the real wrestling community, not the trolls, rallied around her. Fellow wrestlers, both male and female, came out in support. They shared their own stories of costume mishaps. They praised her professionalism. They called out the double standards. Industry veterans weighed in, talking about how these situations used to be handled versus how they're handled now. Some of the commentary was eye-opening. Stories about female wrestlers being forced to work in completely inappropriate gear. Stories about concerns being dismissed. Stories about how far the industry has come, but also how far it still needs to go. Here's the thing though. Out of this negative situation, something potentially positive might emerge. This incident has sparked a major conversation about costume design in wrestling. People are asking questions that should have been asked years ago. How are these decisions made? Who has input? What are the safety standards? How are outfits tested? WWE, to their credit, has reportedly already implemented new protocols. More rigorous testing, more wrestler input, better backup plans. Is it enough? Time will tell, but it's a start. Other wrestling promotions are taking notice too. AEW, Impact, the independent scene, everyone's having internal conversations about their wardrobe procedures. This might actually lead to industry-wide improvements that protect all wrestlers. And perhaps most importantly, this has shown a spotlight on the incredible professionalism of performers like Jade Cargill. Casual fans who might have dismissed her before are now seeing what she's really made of. Her stock has actually risen because of how she handled this adversity. Sometimes it takes a crisis to reveal someone's true character. And Jade's character? Absolutely unshakable. So here's what I want you to do. If you made it this far, if this video resonated with you, I need you to do something for me. First, smash that like button. Let YouTube's algorithm know that this content matters, that these conversations are important, that we're not just here for the clips and the highlights. We're here for the real talk about what goes on in this industry. Second, drop a comment below. Tell me, am I wrong about the double standards? Do you think the response to Jade was fair? Have you noticed similar patterns in how male versus female wrestlers are treated when things go wrong? I read every comment, and I want to hear your perspective. Let's have a real conversation about this. Third, subscribe to WrestleScope if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell, because we're the channel that's not afraid to tackle the tough topics. We're not just going to give you the sanitized, corporate-approved takes. We're going to give you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it makes people upset, even when it challenges the way things have always been done. Share this video with your wrestling friends. Share it with people who need to understand what really goes on behind the scenes. Share it with anyone who thinks these conversations don't matter. Because they do matter. Because Jade Cargill matters. Because every wrestler who's ever dealt with preventable issues matters. Because making this industry better requires all of us to speak up, to demand better, to hold people accountable. And finally, show some love to Jade on her social media. Let her know the real fans have her back. Let her know we see through the nonsense. Let her know we recognize her professionalism, her skill, and her character. Look, at the end of the day, wrestling is about storytelling. It's about larger-than-life characters overcoming obstacles. And Jade Cargill just showed us a real story of professionalism, grace, and strength under pressure. That costume fail? It'll be a footnote in her career, a minor blip in what's shaping up to be a legendary run. Because that's what separates the good from the great. Not avoiding problems, but how you handle them when they inevitably arise. This is WrestleScope, reminding you that the real story isn't always what goes viral. Sometimes the real story is what happens after the moment. How someone responds, how they grow, how they turn adversity into advantage. Until next time, keep it locked, keep it real, and keep demanding better for the wrestlers we love to watch.